Caution, the Mark Gungor Show contains adult content intended for an adult audience. And, besides that, he's really weird. Welcome to the Mark Gungor Show with international marriage speaker and author of Laugh Your Way to a Better Marriage, Mark Gungor. This is your source for practical, down-to-earth marriage advice without all the over-spiritualization or romantic nonsense. And now the host of the Mark Gungor Show, Mark Gungor.
Wild with delirious joy. They've joined the Mark Gungor Show, the show that deals with all things concerning knowledge. Indeed, I'm your host, the one, the only, Mark Gungor. Joining me as always, the ever lovely and charming Diane, Lady Diane, and the amazing Philip James Gungor is in the house, at least temporarily. He said I might have to leave early. Engineering the show as always, the very talented but eerily creepy Timothy Robert Ray, pushing buttons, twisting knobs, and trying to stay awake during this incomprehensibly, immeasurably boring show. This is the show that handles your marital challenges, relational conundrums, and dating dilemmas that you can email to us at askask@markgungor.com. That is the first correct introduction I've done in a month. I don't know what is. My brain has been like fried. I did it!
Get it together,
Woo!
dude.
All right. What do you got?
Okay, article out of the UK, actually, but I'm sure that this applies to the US as well. Getting a divorce, you could regret that in 5 years' time. A survey of divorcees conducted by a law firm found 22% wish that they hadn't gone through the split.
Wow.
Only about 20% had no regrets about the divorce.
Oh, wait a minute. That doesn't make any sense. 22% wish they hadn't, but only 20% had no regrets.
And everybody else was somewhere in the middle on their scale of it's either
that doesn't
totally
make any sense.
It,
if you have no regrets, that's 20%. That means 80% of people have
had
regrets.
some level of regret.
All right, that's what the thing should be saying.
That's the way I'm reading it anyway.
Idiot people who write these things. All right. So
they said 21% regretted the way they conducted their divorce, so maybe they're splitting it down that way. 33% regretted the way it affected their children.
But still regret.
And 24% wish that they had avoided the financial consequences.
Which is still regret.
Yes, so it's all
80%
regret,
of people
some level of regret.
have some level of regret from divorce.
Yes.
Wow.
They said that
nonetheless, people still rush into it, hell-bent. The tendency for self-destruction and self-hurt in our nation, in Western culture, is stunning. Mm-hmm. And I just don't. I mean, anything. Gazillions of different things. We got the chances of getting AIDS and forget
STDs.
AIDS, but just other STDs that make your life miserable, and they don't have any cures for gonorrhea or these, and they got strains that. But yet, knowing that, people do it anyway. Of the financial ruin that people can do making stupid decisions, and people do it anyway. It's, of alcoholism. Knowing that if you just give in, anybody starting to drink's got to know at some point this is bad for you, but just jump straight in. Just
adultery,
drug addicts. I mean, who among us, among most people, would not know being a heroin addict is a bad thing? Mm-hmm. But yet there will be countless numbers of people this year who will become heroin addicts. It's like, it doesn't matter. You can warn them. If you drive 70 miles an hour, your car will explode into a million different pieces. There will be people, one after another, who will go, boo, and then they'll do it again.
I would be surprised, though,
boo.
To hear how many of these people, if you asked them, would you do it again,
if they would
still say yes.
Yes, I'd divorce again.
I got a feeling they may still do it anyway. They just wish that there was no consequences.
Sure. They regret the consequences. They don't regret the decision.
That's true of all the stuff that I'm talking about.
They only ever regret the bad stuff.
Do you regret having sex with this person? Oh, no, I just didn't want to get herpes.
Right.
Do you regret this? Do you regret
'Cause there's no
partying and having a good time
connection.
with your fun? No, I regret it, but now I'm an alcoholic. Do you regret that incredible rush you got when you first shot up a needle? Man, that was amazing. No, I just regret now that it's destroyed my life. I mean, again.
They regret the consequences, not the action.
They regret the way they acted. They regret the way that it affected this. They regretted the way that it affected their money.
Yeah. But they don't regret the decision. They just wish they could do it without the consequences.
They probably would do it again.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, I've talked to people. Their lives blew apart, and they did not say that they regretted what they did. They regretted the fallout.
The fallout from it, yeah.
Yes, I've talked to them.
That's a better way of saying this. It's not that people regret their divorce. Mm-hmm. They regret the consequences of the divorce. I don't regret shooting the guy.
Mm-hmm. I regret I had to go to jail.
I had to go to jail. Mm-hmm. How unfair is that? I don't regret not paying my taxes. I regret that they caught me.
And I regret the way that it affected my family because I got thrown in jail for killing the guy. And I regret the way that it affected my finances.
But given the same chance again, they would probably blow the guy away.
Again.
Yeah. I wouldn't do anything different. Really? Because I would. I would.
Wow. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Wow. Mm-hmm. How crazy is that? Mm-hmm. Anyway, all right. There you have it, folks. Ignore us. Do whatever you want. Regret the consequences. But I'm going to do it anyway. Yes, you will. Mm-hmm. All right. We'll take a break and be back with your emails right after this.
Mark Gungor. Yeah, we've got an app for that. Download your free Mark Gungor app today.
Oh, Mark Gungor back. You're on. Oh, yeah. Here to talk about Transition One, a transition program for young men and women, Christian young men and women, coming out of high school, taking a 1 year off to put God first in their lives before they start in college and career and everything else. I understand, and especially those who are into sports, that's not much of an option for them. I'd even challenge that. I just slow down, man. Everybody's so hurried to rush their kids off into college to make money. And then they're shocked when they're in their 30s and 40s and their lives are falling apart and ending in divorce and their kids come home pregnant and everything else. Oh, what did we do wrong? Really? How about you slow down a little bit? You put them through college, or high school. You say, well, they're good Christian kids. Yeah, but all they've done is live off of your faith. They're what's that word when you're drafting, when you're behind another car? They're, you get behind another. Race car drivers do this. They get behind another car because they draft, because the other car's taking the resistance of the wind, and they ride along until they get their chance to break out. Your kids, by and large, good Christian kids, I've been drafting off of your life. You and Dad are the devout Christians. You bring them to church and stuff. Now you're just going to throw them out on their own without a chance for them to really develop their own faith. I don't think it's a good idea. Take a 1 year program like Transition One here in Green Bay, Wisconsin, and we teach them how to really focus on life, how to make decisions, how to plan financially, how to balance a checkbook. It's amazing how many of your kids don't even know anything about balancing much of anything. How to make decisions about life and marriage and love and dating and all these things. We spent time, it's not a Bible college, we spent time for several months in the first part of the program just teaching them the basics about life and giving them opportunities to serve. They need to learn to serve. The last 3 months of the program is we send them to, they pick a place. We've got missionaries around the world that take them in. They're safe places where they get to go in and serve. And it's not just a 1 week vacation-like missions trip. This is real missions work where they go and they live with these people for 3 months. And they learn not everywhere in the world has Wi-Fi. They learn not every place in the world has high-definition TVs. They learn not every place has McDonald's. It teaches them to do life. They will be forever changed. Take 1 year. Put God first in their lives. Go check it out, transition1.org.
Hot-head blonde in a tricked-out Ford.
We're back on the Mark Gungor Show, talking about love, marriage, and relationships. Turning now to your emails.
Okay, we have some sexy emails. Are you ready for that?
Sexy?
Not sexy.
Oh, just
sex emails. Quite a few questions, so we better just dive in.
What the heck's a sexy email? Okay.
That's sexy. I wonder if Mark has ever addressed the waiting period after having a baby.
Okay.
6 weeks can be a long time, and this is a woman writing. How do you deal with that time period?
You just suck it up. Look, no one's ever died from lack of sex. I reject wholeheartedly this idea that you have to have sex or you will die. People are talking, well, it's a need. It's not a need. It's a big, fat, stinking, screaming want. I get that. I have sensed this want for the majority of my human experience. But it's not a need. You know what you need? Water. You know what you need? Food. You know what you need? Shelter. A certain amount of degrees within to exist. You don't need sex. You will be fine.
You can actually go for food
Where
for
there's
6
a will,
without
though,
food for
there
6
is a way.
weeks.
When you're married,
Sure.
if both are willing, you can usually figure something out.
Yeah.
This is true as well.
So it's not like, oh, gee, we can't even touch each other for 6 weeks.
Right.
No, this is true. There are other
options and
There are
alternatives.
Usually one person is more willing than the other. But
dear Jesus. But yes,
And I know plenty of people who don't wait 6 weeks. They just don't.
I get that. They don't have to. Some they're fine. They can go right away. It's just after passing a basketball, you would think, gee, it'd be a while. But they recover rather quickly. That's not my grief. My grief is, well, how can we do about this waiting period? I'd say just wait. That's what I tell people. Try and control yourselves.
6 weeks ain't so long.
control it. But again, if they're both willing.
No, I get it. If
Why
they're both
would you say
willing,
Yes.
it's fine. But there's other stuff in life. She might get really sick and can't do anything about it one way or the other. What are you going to do then?
Well, this is a woman
your
writing, so
spouse-
apparently this is too much for her. What if your husband was the one that got sick?
What if he
he fell and got paralyzed and couldn't have sex with you that way again?
What if he dropped over dead?
Right. What are you going to do?
You can wait 3 weeks and then go outside whoring around?
Because it's so
Guy
long.
or girl? You can be a hoe man or a hoe girl. Ho, ho, ho. This idea, I mean, it's literally, that's what they think. I couldn't
am I
handle
gonna
it. I'd just start going into bars and raping people. Really? I mean, come on. That's the way they act. What am I going to do?
He's constantly speaking in hyperbole.
Yeah, because that's what people say. 3 days and I have to go rape somebody.
I have to rape somebody. Oh, what's your name? Good Lord.
How hard it must be for someone who doesn't live in that world to listen to.
Because they think he really means every word literally.
I mean, I would never go and rape anyone.
Those are the people who don't listen to the show. The majority of people do not listen to the show because most people cannot handle the hyperbole. They really can't. That's what I do.
I know.
I do it in front of audiences. I make them laugh, and they can still barely handle it then. But still, I have a show and most people don't. Anyway, the point being, you know who's a hyperbolist? The greatest hyperbolist of all time.
I do. Go ahead. Do tell.
Who do you think, Phil?
Well, you're probably going the Bible.
He's going
So
Jesus.
I'm assuming you're going to go with Jesus with his
Yes.
He's going
his
Jesus.
paraboles.
Paraboles. There's a lot of, I mean, even really serious theologians who concede that Jesus was a hyperbolist. In other words, speaking in big tones to make a point. Because nobody in any theological perspective, anywhere ever that I'm aware of, unless they're nuts, thinks that the answer for your wandering eye is to pluck your eyeball out. Nobody thinks that someone who struggles with masturbating should literally cut off their hands. And that's just two of the things. I mean, there's all kinds of them that he says in the strongest of terms. Okay? Even how often should I forgive my brother? 7 times? 70 times 7. I don't think he needs you to literally
Tally.
up, 490? I don't know what the math is on. Times. Really? No, he's a hyperbolist. And he reacted in hyperbolic terms. Okay. Jesus. Coming out of the city, I think he's out of the city of Jerusalem, whatever. Walking along, the Bible says he gets hungry. He walks up to a tree. There's no fruit on the tree. I would think, go to another tree. Mm-hmm. Right? What does he do? He curses the tree. And his disciples like, whoa, man. Over here. You know,
there's some on the tree 500 feet down the road.
500 feet down the road. They come back later. The tree is just rotted up. It's dead. Mm-hmm. And they're like, whoa. I mean, there are a lot of things that he said and did in the strongest of terms. And someone gets it, looking at it, go, okay, we need to take this seriously and stuff like that. And again, I don't know of anybody who actually prescribed some of the prescriptions that Jesus gave, because if you don't think he was a hyperbolist, then you're going to have a lot of blind...
One arm, one hand.
They're called pirates.
The pirates.
Arg, arg, arg. There'll be a whole lot
That's why they go out into the pirate ships.
Arg, arg, arg. Yeah, because they cut off their hand and poked out their eye.
That's all those people that are following Jesus.
Arg, arg. I became a pirate because I read the Bible and I was obeying the word.
The pirates.
I'm not sure what you did to lose a leg, but I don't even want to know.
We don't even want to know.
We don't want to know what that's
what
about.
happened with the leg. Goodness gracious. So anyway, in defense of my hyperbolic ways, there have been some great hyperbolists. You know who's another one?
Martin Luther.
Martin Luther. Well, man, it's creepy. It's like you're in my brain. You spend way too much time working for me. You need like a 3-year sabbatical.
Well, he only says
I'm ready to be put out to pasture, actually.
That's the other thing,
Just
though.
put me out to pasture.
I do only say 3, 4, 5 things, and she knows what I'm going to say. But that one, that's kind of rare. I don't talk about that a lot. But that is true. Martin Luther was really he was mean. He talked. You ever read it? Some of it's hilarious.
Yeah.
I mean, you forget about
it. On Twitter recently. I don't know if there was some anniversary marker of something with Martin Luther, but I kept seeing on Twitter people posting.
But I reposted one of those and had all kinds of people get mad. They thought it was terrible. I said, no. Because they thought I was talking about Martin Luther King.
People were very confused about that.
And I said, seriously,
Don't think they're related.
They're not related. I'm talking about Martin Luther.
Yeah.
Martin Luther King could never say so. I know, but I mean, Martin Luther did.
They don't know who that is.
It was so funny. But I'd have to find it. I can't even think of an example at this point. But I mean, it was worse than me. As much as I get in people's face and say explosive things, Martin Luther, and a lot of it was comedic. And they'll say the guy had a really nasty sense of humor. Because he gets, are you finding anything?
Looking.
Some of them. Google Martin Luther and Joel Osteen.
Let the wife make the husband glad to come home and let him make her sorry to see him leave. That's not a bad one.
No, that's a good one, actually. No, there's some. If you look at the Google, we'll do it during the break, but Google, because there was the thing I said was, what would happen if Joel Osteen and Martin Luther were twittering back and forth? And of course, Joel Osteen is saying really nice, warm things, and Luther is just saying these horrible things. And then people say, that's Martin Luther Jr. would never say. It wasn't Martin Luther King Jr. It was Martin Luther, and it was conversation from the 1500s or whatever else. Anyway, so that was his thing. I don't know. I'm sure there's other strong hyperbolists along the way. All that to say, I think to answer this lady's question, I know Phil said, well, there's this option, and very thoughtful, kind, reflective people would give you all kinds of options. My option is control yourself, because there is likely a day coming when you can't find any other option than to control it. What are you going to do then? What are you going to do when your husband's got cancer and he's puking his guts out and he can barely stand up? You expect him to be doing other things for you? I mean, you're not going to be having any sex. What do you think? You're not going to die, all right? You're going to feel like you're going to die. You will be miserable. That's why life at times is very hard and difficult. What happens if your spouse dies suddenly in a car wreck? What are you going to do about sex then, And there's people who say, well, no, go get a vibrator, or go do this, or go do that, or, I just think, learn to control. You'll be okay. Well, I really want this fulfilled in my life. Good. Then at that point, you'd go find another wife or another husband. You start over again. But this idea that we cannot control something, like we're animals, I just reject wholeheartedly. 6 weeks, really. You can't wait 6 weeks. You should wait 6 weeks, and then when you come back together, it's a blast. Man, we waited. We weren't. I mean, I know I'm 112 years old, but we weren't doing all the stuff everybody feels compelled to do. What'd you do? Just prayed, read the Bible, enjoyed the little kid that you just gave birth to. That's all your attention is there, right? You're not going to die. Anyway, take a break. We'll be back with more right after this.
Attend Mark's Laugh Your Way to a Better Marriage event. Visit laughyourway.com for upcoming dates and locations.
We tried our best and we made a mess of the thing that they call love.
We're good at that. Back on the Mark Gungor Show, talking about love, marriage, and relationships. Okay, so we started out, this lady saying, what are we going to do? How can you wait for 6 weeks after a baby's born? And this stuff irritates me. I said, you can control yourself. We live in a culture that says you can't control. Now, kind, reasonable, reflective thoughts. Well, you can try this, you can try that. But I just don't have any patience for it. And they don't need me to come up with the nice alternatives. The culture that we live in says you have to have sex or you're going to die. Your eyes are going to pop out. Your brain's going to explode. And people cannot control themselves. And I just think it's absurd. I get you want to have sex. I want to have sex. All right? But you're not going to die. You have to always understand, you're not going to die. You're going to feel like you're going to die, but you're not going to die. So anyway, I'm using extreme examples. We use it. Walk into a bar, start raping people. Of course, these two monkeys are laughing at me, saying I'm such a hyperbolist, which means you exaggerate to make points. I pointed out that Jesus, virtually all Bible, I was even listening to a Catholic priest the other day on TV or something, like pointing out that Jesus was a bit of a hyperbolist because everybody who studies his teachings, they get his point. Nobody really thinks he meant you should literally pluck your eyeballs out. All right? And then we started talking about Martin Luther. Not Martin Luther King, not the black guy, all right? Martin Luther of the, 1400s, 1500s, he was the one who started the Reformation, rebelled against the Catholic Church and all the crazy stuff they were doing, started the Lutheran Church, started all the Protestantism, all of that guy. He was an infamous hyperbolist. He would make the Mark Gungor Show look like child's play.
Yeah.
Because he was known for this and was known comically. He was a very funny guy who had a real biting edge to him. I'm not a Lutheran per se, but I look at this with great admiration. So I was talking about this post that went around, and it's not real. I post people because they don't know history and everything.
No.
But they were making fun of, because Joel Osteen.
They thought somebody was putting down Joel Osteen.
Yeah, Joel's is a warm, fuzzy guy. It's fine. I'm not knocking it. So they were just saying, what would happen if if Martin Luther was responding to tweets from Joel Osteen? So here's some of the examples. Joel Osteen says this: if you will change what you're saying, you will change what you're seeing. Speak words of faith and victory over your life daily. Martin Luther responds, you're the cousin of the Antichrist. Joel Osteen, life is too short to hang around cynical people. Martin Luther, you are a toad eater. And a fawner. What's a fawner? I don't know what that means.
I don't know either.
We don't even know. These are little quotes from Luther's writing. Life may have weakened and discouraged you, but where you are is not where God wants you to stay. Luther says, you are an excellent person, as skillful, clever, and versed in the Holy Scripture as a cow in a walnut tree.
As a cow in a walnut tree?
Yes. Don't settle for where you are. Joel Osteen. Martin Luther, you are like butter in the sunshine. Okay, I don't even know this word. Keep growing, keep believing. Joel Osteen. Martin Luther, you pusillanimous scoundrel. What is it?
Fawner is someone who flatters another to get ahead.
Look at this word. Pusillanimous. It's an insult. Scoundrel. Here's some of the other. We'll skip Osteen's, but these are literally quotes from Martin Luther. I beg you to put your glasses on your nose and blow your nose a bit to make your head lighter and your brain clearer. Martin Luther, you do nothing more than latch onto a small word and smear all over with your spittle as you please. Martin Luther, this new thing you have devised is the vilest cesspool that the devil has on earth. Martin Luther, you are a bungling magpie croaking loudly. What light can there be in the heads of those who hold such tangible darkness. Phooey on you, you servant of idols. You poor devils. These are all literal quotes. You're as skillful in the Bible as a cow in a walnut tree. So, I love Martin Luther. Praise be to God. We'll be back with more right after this break.
Caution, the Mark Gungor Show contains adult content intended for an adult audience.
Let me tell you, people, I ain't got nothing but the blues.
We're back on the Mark Gungor Show, talking about love, marriage, and relationships. Mark and Diane. Phil the slacker has left the building. Elvis has left the building because he had something he was supposed to do. What am I going to do? Fire him? He's my son. So, anyway, you and me, sunshine.
It's us. Okay, another sex question.
Woohoo.
I don't know if this is where I should ask, but my husband and I are struggling after getting home from a conference with Mark.
Oh, no!
My husband now thinks that I am not allowed to reject him at all, even if he just grabs my butt when he gets home from work late at night. I think he needs to try learning how to climb the palm tree and not expect so much from me when I've been home all day with 2 kids. Now, it's my fault he isn't getting any sex. And this morning he says he woke up, therefore he deserves sex. It seems like...
Wait a minute!
Wait, let me
Have you
finish.
ever been to my conferences? Do I say anything remotely close to that?
No. She says it seems like now things are worse. So apparently this was a problem before, but they're worse now because now my husband thinks it's wrong for me to reject him at all and that he doesn't have to work at it. He doesn't want to learn to try anything. What can we do?
So there's another Mark Gungor out there.
Apparently saying
Clearly.
You can't reject sex.
She's confused me with that other Mark Gungor.
Maybe.
Because that other Mark Gungor tells men and women that they have to give each other sex. They have no choice in the matter.
Yep.
You know...
What do they hear? People hear what they want to hear.
Again.
They hear what they want to hear.
Again. That's what I talk about. This. One of the reasons, I know, we're not talking politics. I'm just talking in terms of presentation style. Why I love Donald Trump is because... anyone who speaks for a living knows what I'm talking about, where you say something and other people say something totally else, you know? And he doesn't care and doesn't respond to that kind of stuff. Because this stuff drives you crazy. Here is a lady and a man who's saying, and here's the crazy, they're telling other people that I'm saying this.
Mm-hmm. But that Mark Gungor guy, he says that you're not supposed to say no at all, that no matter what, whenever he asks.
I have heard stuff that I have said, apparently, that is quite shocking.
Really?
And I go, I said that? Yes, you did. Well, we've even had this conversation around our house. My wife says, you said such and such a sermon. I said, I did? I didn't say it. Yes, you did. I never said such a thing. No, of course, we don't go into the tape and find out. I suppose we could if we wanted to really find the answer. But the point is, well, if that's what I said, it's certainly not what I meant. Of course, and today, everybody kills you with every little word that you say instead of listening to what you said.
But you've never even said this.
I didn't even say that.
No.
Oh, I
and
know,
it's not what you meant. It's not what you said. It's not anything like that. I mean, what they hear is that when you do your spiel,
you just gotta blow it off.
Don't keep saying no. Don't keep constantly rejecting your husband. You know, because after a while he'll grow dispassionate about you.
Oh, yeah.
That's what they hear.
That's what I say.
And then they take that to mean, see, Mark said you can't ever tell me no.
Okay, listen. You went to the seminar. Mm-hmm. Your husband likes what I said. Mm-hmm. Play this for him. Hey, Bobby. Hi, it's Mark Gungor here. You're a moron, okay? I never said that you can just walk in and grab your wife's butt and she has to give you sex on the spot. I never said anything remotely
Apparently
close to.
he fell asleep during the part when you do the whole foreplay and the keys to the number one key to incredible sex and everything you're supposed to do.
Hey, you awake?
Yeah.
I mocked guys like you. I never said that because you're awake, she has to wake up and give you sex. Clearly, Bob, you either have a problem with your ears or your brain is made of cotton. All right? I never said anything of the sort. How about you be nice to your wife? How about you be a lover to the girl? How about you not be a self-centered, narcissistic pig and sit around and demand somebody gives you sex? I never said such a thing.
No, you didn't.
I think he's crazy. And she is under no obligation. Again, now some people say, now the Bible says a woman's body does not belong to herself. It does not say that. It does. I will give you $1 million If you can find me where the Bible says only that a woman does not own her own body. It doesn't say that. It says a woman's body does not belong to herself alone. The next word, the word you all take out, that means it still does belong to her. It's just not hers alone, which means she has a say as well. Now, she has an obligation to the other one, which is his point. But Paul never said, the Bible never taught, that a man gets to demand his wife put out sexually at any given moment, or vice versa. It's absurd. And I have never, it's amazing how many people have accused me of saying this.
I know.
Because people are insane, and they only hear what they want to hear. I have never, under any circumstance, in any way, shape, or form, advocated that a woman or a man has to give sex at the drop of a hat. It's absurd.
In fact, you said the exact opposite.
I know it. So how does somebody...
have said the opposite.
How can someone come listen to my talk and walk away with this conclusion?
Because they hear what they want to hear. They only hear what they want to hear.
You're a dope. You got it wrong. You got it all wrong. Tell them that. Say, hey, I got a video I want you to hear. Got an audio clip. Mark Gungor wants to talk to you. Look, I'm sure you're a nice dope. Seriously. I'm sure he's a nice guy.
Yeah.
I probably would have got along great. We'd probably go hang out, have a great time. But as one manly friend would say to another friend, you're a moron. You're an idiot. And you're a dope. You got it wrong. That's my manly, friendly encouragement to you.
That's to you.
Be nice. How do you miss that part of the seminar?
I don't know. As I say,
Be nice to the
snooze during the entire rest of the seminar and was awake for 45 seconds.
There's got to be another Mark Gungor out there.
I don't know.
That's the only thing I can think of.
They hear what they want to hear, and they twist it and they turn it.
I'm just glad someone is finally fighting back in a public thing. Again, the whole Trump thing. Again, I'm not talking the politics. I'm just talking about a speaker who fights back on what people say he said and didn't say. And even if he says something outrageous, that's not what I meant, and just blows it off. It seems to work for him. All of us public speakers go, praise God. Oh, my gosh. Okay, what do you got?
Okay, this is a guy writing. He says, I'm frustrated that my wife has no desire to be selfless or improve in any way. But she is very happy to be negative and hopeless and say that she doesn't need to change and she likes who she is. And I know that if she would forgive and be happy right now where she is at, that she would be better and healthier, have a healthier outlook on life. We can't communicate. She won't go to a counselor. She won't read books. She won't watch any Laugh Your Way videos.
Outrageous!
I just don't have time for someone who likes being so miserable. She has her list of, if I get this, then I'll be happy things. How can you help someone who will not receive or seek help? They've only been married for 3 years.
Yeah, here's my advice. Leave her alone. Stop it. He sounds like an obnoxious jerk to me.
Yeah.
He feels like he is on a mission to fix his wife.
Yep.
And who wants that? I've actually tried this. Get my wife. Here, why don't you read this? She's not gonna read it. My wife. You know my wife.
She's not gonna read it.
If I come up and advise my wife to read something or look at something or sit, she's gonna look at me and without saying a word, tell me to stuff it. You big dummy. Stop. It's not your job to be telling her how to improve herself. Who are these people?
He's just concerned about his wife. Like, she's not a happy person, and he just wants her to be happy and to be better.
Yeah, I understand. Every time you feel like that, I want you to go over to the toilet, stick your head in it, and flush! Seriously. Stick your head in the toilet and flush. Give yourself a swirly. Every time you think you need to help her be a better person, stick your head in the toilet and flush! Maybe, just perchance, you will awaken out of your delusions. Leave her alone. It is not your job to tell her how to be a better person. And this goes for all y'all. No wonder people are so miserable. Sir, I look at these divorce rates and I get shocked. Then I listen to what these people think. I guess I should be shocked that the divorce rate isn't 90%. Seriously.
That's true.
I would be divorced if I were like these people.
Probably.
Who are these people? How do people get so dysfunctional today? Who gets married and just constantly tells her fat? You know, the worst one, and I wanted to beat this guy to death. Hyperbolically speaking. I wanted to beat this guy would get to remember the children together. and pray for mom. Let's just pray that mom will stop being this. Oh my gosh, can you imagine the damage that he was doing to his children? Getting his children together to pray that mom would stop being the way mom is. And she's not cleaning right. Just, but seriously, I wanted to just find the guy and beat the snot out of him. So you're not as bad as that guy, but you're still a dope. Mm-hmm. Okay? Stop it. Leave her alone. How about you just be a good husband to her and let God worry about her? All right? Well, I think she could be better. You know what? I bet you could be better. Mm-hmm. Here's advice. Here's how you can be better. Leave her alone. We'll take a break. We'll be back with more Intolerable.
Want more of Mark? Visit markgungor.com. There you will find everything that Mark has to offer.
Fish won't bite and I don't care. I'm still gonna
Back on the Mark Gungor Show. We were just talking about clothing and dressing up and whatever else. And, that a lot of people do the very casual looking look. But for some of us, it's just a bad look. And I tend to overdress. I really overdress for the show. Actually, today's not bad. I probably need to back off. I was watching the other day. I thought, I don't always need to be decked out and like I'm going to the prom. So maybe I'll back off. But on stage, when I'm on stage, when I preach, I am one of the most dressed up people in our entire congregation of 3,000 people.
You are.
But not because you have to. People come to our church in shorts and do.
Yeah.
Nobody cares. And I tell them that. It's just that I got to see myself on television. And I tried to be the hip, cool pastor. Because you watch these pastors today, they're in jeans and the shirts all hanging out. And, they sit on a chair and they talk and, give all their blah, blah, blahs. So I tried that for several years, and I look at those videos, and I'm just mortified. I can't stand it. I look like a homeless person.
Yeah.
So I go to churches, they literally ask me not to wear ties and stuff.
Because they don't want you to be overdressed.
But I ignore them.
Because you do.
Because they want to be, and I just first thing I say is, look, I know you guys don't know, and I look at the pastor, you guys all look great and hip and your stuff. I said, I look like a homeless person. So I dress, that's just my gig. So, and it's really become kind of my trademark now. And when I do my show or whatever, my Laugh Your Way thing, if anybody's seen that in the recent years, I'm dressed to kill. Las Vegas kind of Liberace, this guy's almost gay, kind of sparkly. So, and I love every second of it. So everybody's kind of giving me, they tease me about it all the time. But my son, the other day, was going back and looking at my original DVD. I'm just very in black and stuff. Yeah. And he says, I got to admit, that doesn't really fit you.
No, what you're wearing now is much better. Much better.
It's much more me. So anyway,
everybody has their groove, and you just do your own thing.
It's just my thing. I get a kick out of it. Mm-hmm. All right, Sunshine.
Okay, she says, my husband and I are proud parents of an 11-month-old son. Our son, like most babies, is busy and active, so no complaint. But before our son, I never or rarely got mad at my husband. But now when I see that our son got hurt while Dad was watching him, I grow extremely mad to the point where I want to punch or cuss at my husband. I've never been an angry person, but when I see that my husband didn't watch or catch our son on time before he slips or falls, I become a mama grizzly bear and I get stirred. What should I do to be more patient of my husband, and how do I calm myself when I feel like my husband could have prevented our baby from getting hurt? Also, my husband loves our son and would never really want to hurt him. She does concede
You need to chill out, my personal opinion, but it's hard for women. Mm-hmm. The good thing, she never wants that little kid to be hurt. Mm-hmm. What a man will do is put a situation where a little kid will get hurt. And it's actually good for him because he learns that he won't die. Mm-hmm. This is why if you go to a playground and watch the moms push the kids on the swings. Mm-hmm. And watch the dads. The kids fly away. And of course, the mother all having heart attacks. Stop. And the kids, of course, are going crazy, laughing and screaming and stuff like that. And sometimes they get hurt. And the dad picks them up and they kiss their boo-boos and stuff. And it's good for them. What's bad for your son that you love so much, Mom, is for you to so coddle him and protect him is a bad thing. That's why when ladies hold babies, little kids, and they just cuddle them. What do dads do? They try and bounce them off the ceiling, right? And of course, to infant, that's not a good idea. Just children in general. But men tend to do things that there is an element of risk for.
Yeah.
And the element of risk means there's a good chance the kid could get hurt. Not killed, all right? But could hurt and get a scratch or
get a bump or a bruise.
And the older they get, it could be a broken leg, it could be a broken... But again, they will not die. They will learn and they will grow, and it's healthier. The kids who have fathers in their lives that teach them about risk and risk reward and all that kind of stuff, these are the most healthy children in the world. The guys who grow up and they're not healthy men are men who have mothers that coddle them, and they never take risks, and they live it's not healthy. I'm telling you, it's just not healthy for them. You want these kids, boys and girls. It's good for the girls too, to learn. Dad comes and wrestles. You know, when I walk in, just my grandkids, man, it's party time, and they know it, and they come over, they tackle me.
Yeah.
And my granddaughter wants to fly around like Superman.
Yeah, because she knows that's what Poppy does.
Because that's what I do. Now, the older she gets and the heavier she gets, the less inclined I want to fly her around because it's exhausting.
Yeah.
But I'm not just gently flying her around.
Oh, no, it's pretty crazy.
I'm flying her around within very close tolerances of hitting the walls and knocking things over. A mother like this would be having a fit.
Yeah.
Stop that! Just relax. It's good for these kids. They can learn, they can fly. And if they get hurt, which has been known to happen, there are tears, and I'm sorry, baby, it's okay, And they learn it's going to be okay. You don't want to live with fear. It's another thing is women who are paranoid, like germs and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. They're just absolute germaphobes, so they do everything they can to keep their kids away from any kind, always cleaning them and making sure
they're sick all the time.
And they're sick all the time. They're sick all the time because your version of safety is bad for them. I remember a lady came into me and she says, man, my kids I did everything to keep them clean and wouldn't let them eat dirt and all, pick their boogers, all that kind of stuff, and all the stuff that grosses out. And they were always sick. Mm-hmm. They were always sick. So the pediatrician finally asked me, do you let these kids get dirty? And she says, what do you mean? Do you let them go out and play in the dirt and eat dirt and all that? No, I would never do that. She said, that's
the problem.
Why he's sick all the time. They're all sick all the time. However, kids, she had 2 boys. Stop it. And she was telling me the story. Mm-hmm. She said, I had to learn, let them be boys. And they stopped being sick.
Yep.
Now, they still did stuff that would make her want to vomit. As most
because they're boys.
With little boys.
That's what boys do.
I said, you're going to learn this. She's got 2 little girls. They're going to have a boy now. Wait till you see the difference in that.
It's a big difference. It's a big difference.
Because boys do things that you just can't imagine. Yeah. And it's quite horrifying. But it's good for them.
Yeah.
So you can try and keep your husband from killing your son or daughter, whatever you've got there. But stop getting crazy. Let him do things that, the kid might get hurt. The kid will be fine. And don't try and protect your own children from their own father. Your own words should show you how crazy you are thinking. All right, we'll take a break. Be back with our final segment. Ba-doom, right after this.
Have a marriage dilemma? Email your questions to ask@markgungor.com, and Mark can answer them during one of our shows.
Start the music.
We're back on the Mark Gungor Show talking about love, marriage, and relationships. As a dating segment, we were all over the place, but do we have a dating question?
I was trying to think which one I was going to do. She says, my roommate and I are both sophomores at a very conservative Christian college with great Christian guys.
Cool.
While we believe in the importance of praying for our future husbands, we also believe in being proactive and taking action in finding someone.
Yes.
But recently, we have both been in some very similar situations. A number of guys have shown interest in both of us by either saying that they would like to hang out with us more, messaging us, or trying to be around around us as often as possible and saying that we are great girls. But usually some time will drag on, and then we either find out that they had no intention of dating us or were completely interested in somebody else. While we are not desperate, we are confused because we consider ourselves to be attractive, fun, and very laid-back girls. Is this normal for guys? We were just wondering if there was any advice you could give us, because this has happened numerous times.
What exactly has happened?
That they act interested and message them and want to hang out with them and this and that, and all of a sudden they're like, vanish.
Yeah, they're assuming they want to be something more than not. The girls are making the jump. Just because the guy's texting you or whatever doesn't mean much of anything. If he wants to hang with you for a while, they kind of like to think you're funny.
He thinks that they're showing interest, and then...
Well, to some degree, but I mean, don't overread that stuff. I think you're thinking way too hard. I'm more concerned that you pray for your future spouse, which is almost been a doctrinal thing for evangelicals for the last, 20 years. And parents literally pray for their future spouse and everything. I think that's weird. There's no place in the Bible that you pray for somebody you don't know off in the distance that may or may not exist. It's one of the most ignorant things I've ever heard of. Good grief. What are the people that we were so... Apparently you have so much free time after praying over people that you really know, you have time to pray for somebody you don't know. I mean, I just get irritated with most prayer requests. Here's my prayer request. Can you pray for me? I need prayer.
For what?
About what? Well, I don't want to say. Well, no, I'm not going to pray for you. What kind of prayer is that?
Tell me what it is.
Well, I know a guy who needs a thing. Can you pray for him right now on Facebook? There's somebody who really needs some help. Can you pray right away? Who?
Yeah.
What kind of help? I mean, that's not prayer. Prayer is very specific.
That really bugs me when people will put it on Facebook and say, we have a situation, it's desperate, please pray for us right now. Well, what?
What are you supposed to pray? God help them because of something.
I don't know.
Well, they say, well, God knows. Well, if that's the case, then just pray every morning. Just going to say, God help everybody, amen.
Because you know.
Because you know. That's not prayer. Prayer is coming before God with specific requests, asking him to intervene in specific ways for specific people in a specific time frame.
And if you don't want to be specific, then zip it, Skippy.
Zip it, Skippy!
Because half the time they never repost or, well, what was going on and what was this? And you just, I mean, not that I'm nosy that way, but
who was the moron who came up with the idea of praying for someone who doesn't exist? I think this goes back to Focus on the Family early days. I think so. And I like those guys. We've been friends for years. I think they're all... I don't agree with everybody. But that's one of the things I don't agree with. Yeah. Praying for somebody who doesn't exist. Praying for your future. Oh, let's get together and pray for your future. What?
Pray for the guy he's going to bring.
I can see praying for your kids. Say, Lord, help them someday to make the right decision, to follow you, and whether or not they choose to be married, they use their brains and not be stupid. I'm all for that. But these girls, seriously, sweetheart, you're praying for someone you don't even know what if you never get married? Then what's God supposed to do all those prayers? Stop it. Use your brain. All right, goodbye.
Bye-bye, boys.
Have fun storming the castle.